officials. Still though, SMEs are being warned to step up their record-keeping regimes as ATO turns its attention from the big end of town with some practical steps for SMEs. We're going to head over to William Buck's Taxation Focus Group head, Shane Crockett. Shane, thanks so much joining us from Melbourne there. We appreciate your time. First of all, are most Australian SMEs good enough when it comes to record keeping?
Thank you very much, Kate, for having me. Our exposure at the moment is that the general record-keeping requirements for SMEs are not being strictly adhered to. The big end of town tend to have this down pat fairly well, but what we're seeing is an increased scrutiny by the tax office, particularly in relation to what they refer to as contemporaneous documentation. So we're actually seeing that our SME clients are slightly confused at the moment as to exactly just how much documentation is enough and what the quality of that documentation in relation to their transactions is.
Okay, if it's about confusion though, not avoidance, isn't it more about a need for communication than a crackdown from the tax office?
No, clearly that's the case, Kate. Most SMEs in this country are law-abiding citizens and they will pay their fair share of tax. What we're seeing is there's some confusion in relation to the level and the quantum of the necessary documentation that the tax office expects to see in order for a taxpayer to prove it has fully complied with its tax obligations.
Okay, why now? Why have they suddenly decided to focus on the SME space?
I think, as I alluded to first up, Kate, I think the big end of town are very good at actually documenting their procedures and policies and processes and their reasons as to why they've gone into particular transactions. I think SMEs across the board, albeit they document what they do in most cases in relation to loan documents, business plans, trustee resolutions, the issue that we're seeing is that time and time again the tax office just requires more and more information in relation to why a taxpayer has done something in a particular manner.
Okay, how far back should SMEs be concerned about, or is it enough to improve record keeping from here on in?
Clearly, under Australian tax law, most SMEs have either a 2-year or a 4-year period of amendment, and we're seeing that the tax office are being very open with their ability to go back those 4 years. So what we are urging our clients to do is make sure their record keeping, certainly moving forward, is up to date, but also to revisit particularly major transactions that have happened in the last 4 years, because that's what the tax office are demanding. Okay,
perhaps you can give us some tools that they can use to keep or make their record keeping easier, because it does occupy a lot of their time and money, I know.
Yes, well, clearly there's been a push now for cloud computing and cloud accounting. We're moving a lot of our clients onto that. That's a very powerful tool which enables transactions to be clearly documented from an accounting viewpoint. From a tax viewpoint, what we're urging our clients to do is seek advice early on in the transaction and at least document the reasons and intent as to why they're going into a particular transaction. So, in other words, go and see their advisor, have a chat to them, and put in place some form of position paper or discussion paper that clearly evidences what they've done and why they've done it and how they've done it.
Okay, Shane, just finally, do you think that the SMEs have been given fair warning about this increased focus from the ATO?
I'm not quite sure whether the ATO needs to give SMEs warning. I mean, clearly under tax law, the onus of proof is on the taxpayer in this country. What we're seeing is the tax office, depending on which particular area of the tax office you deal with, we're also seeing very different levels of communication coming out of different areas of the tax office. What we're asking for is consistency of message, consistency of communication, and to bring the taxpayers along for the ride, because, as I said, most taxpayers, certainly SMEs in this country, are law-abiding citizens and they just want to help the tax office do their job.
Okay, Shane Crockett from William Buck, thank you so much for your time. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Kate.